Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you might be, whatever time space coordinate you find yourself listening to this. This is Amy Heibel. I am on the website The Open Door with Cindy Krupp and all of our fellow travelers. We are looking at Training Wheels this morning, which is a book I wrote a long time ago, translating the daily lesson of A Course in Miracles into sort of everyday language. And we are on lesson 32, as I recall. If that's incorrect, I hope someone will let me know. But thank you. My recollection is 32. So get comfortable in your seat. Patricia has a question before we get started.
I'm on my Kindle. Could you tell me what page it is, please?
The page in Training Wheels starts on page 58.
Thank
And
you.
it's lesson 32. Yeah. So I'm going to do what I always do. We'll do for the first 50 lessons, which is to essentially go through and read each lesson, because each lesson does, in a sense, build holographically on the other. So just take your seat and get comfortable. Then I'm going to read the lesson and then give a little bit of discussion about how the lesson has really changed for me since I wrote it in 2019, and then open it up for discussion and see how all of you think about the lesson or have experienced it. So you can keep your eyes open or closed as you wish, and we will begin. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reasons I think. I am upset because I see something that is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world. My thoughts are images I have made. I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I am determined to see. I am determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. I do not perceive my own best interests. I do not know what anything is for. My attack thoughts are attacking my own invulnerability. Above all else, I want to see. Above all else, I want to see things differently. God is in everything I see. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. I am not a victim of the world I see. I have invented the world I see. I have invented the world I see. Most people have heard of the terms cause and effect. For example, the heat from the sun causes surface water to evaporate. When the temperature sinks below freezing, ice is formed. The idea of cause and effect has been a critical theme of the past few lessons. However, it is critical to your development that you understand your current understanding of cause and effect is limited and limiting. It is limited because it views the material world as cause and mind as its effect. This is completely backward. It is why you cannot be a victim of the world you see, and it's why you are the cause of the world and not its effect. You cannot be the victim of your own invention. I have invented the world I see. Today's lesson is literal. Let me repeat. Today's lesson is literal. It applies to both your inner world and your outer world, which are exactly the same. The truth is simply this: mind is the cause and this world is the effect. As I said, most of humanity today is in agreement that the opposite is true. We have been taught that the physical brain and the body are the source of our experience. And indeed, those who seem to do quote unquote best in this world appear quite adept at manipulating its external manifestations. For this reason, it's easy to understand why so many people continue to value and trust the external more than the internal. There's nothing wrong with doing well and enjoying the things of this world, but to value this world above the mind is to seek comfort in an illusion rather than its source. It is time to reconsider cause and effect. Today's lesson asks only that you pay more attention to what is going on inside your mind, to pay more attention to thoughts as they arise. Focus your efforts on awareness of the content and quality of your thoughts. Most people are not willing to accept responsibility for their thoughts until they have exhausted all other options. And the choice to see things differently is forced upon them. This is completely avoidable if cause and effect are understood. We have invented the world we see. Everything outside is a mirror of what is inside. And because we share a mind, we share in this creation. Practice today's lesson as you did the prior lesson. Twice a day, in the morning and the evening, take a seat and place your awareness on the breath. Look around at the outside world and say in your mind, I have invented the world I see. Allow yourself to relax as you repeat the lesson 2 or 3 times. I have invented this world I see. And then close your eyes and settle a little more deeply, keeping part of your awareness on the breath. As you sit for 3 to 5 minutes, just allow, 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 and notice your thoughts. Don't judge or dwell on any in particular, or if you do, just notice. Part of your mind should be watching the breath, and part of your mind should be watching your thoughts. And part of your mind should slowly, calmly, when the impulse arises, repeat the lesson. So breathe, watch in awareness, and say in your mind, I have invented the world I see. Let this happen naturally. Don't do it by rote. Just when you're moved to repeat the lesson, repeat it. Otherwise, be happy with yourself, watching the breath and noticing thoughts. Don't strain yourself in any way about this. Just try and allow the lesson to unfold. It will be perfect as it is. Hold this lesson in your mind throughout the day, and if any situation arises that causes the least amount of discomfort, repeat the lesson. Feel the lesson in your body as you repeat it. How does your body respond to the vibratory quality of the words of this lesson? There's nothing that's not a part of you. That's why this lesson is so safe. That's why you are perfectly safe. And please know that because we share one mind, a change in your mind reflects and affects us all. Your healed mind, your mind in awareness, heals my mind and encourages awareness in my mind. I have invented the world I see. The ego will try to adapt this lesson for its own use. Let me share with you how that has been experienced in my world. One of my dear friends, a friend who actually was instrumental, has been instrumental in my spiritual path, has taken this lesson and applied it literally to every single thing that has happened to her. So when her bank account is empty, she says, I am responsible for my bank account being empty. So I need do nothing about it because obviously it's what's best for me. Or the body gets ill and she says, well, I've made myself ill. Or there's something terrible that happens to a family member or a close friend. And she says, well, I'm responsible for that. I've invented the world I see. That is the ego usurping this lesson. It makes the ego the center of the universe. And while this lesson is true in a literal sense, it is only half of the equation. Because we do not think the thoughts we think. The ego takes the personal mind and then says, the personal mind is responsible for all the thoughts I think. The personal mind has invented this world, when in fact there is no personal mind. And so while it is helpful to understand when looking out at the world and experiencing the world, to say, I am responsible, what we are truly responsible for is being aware of the experience that is arising in the moment. We invent our response to the experience of being aware. We do not invent the world through the personal mind. When we say everything is for me, that doesn't mean everything is for the personal self. It is important to understand both sides of this lesson. There is no personal self. All is arising as it arises. I am the experience. I am the experiencer. I am that in which the experience arises, because it all arises in awareness. And that is what I am. The ego will try to take this lesson and use it for its own ends. It will make you feel guilty and overly responsible. I am not responsible on a personal level. In the way the ego would have you interpret this lesson. Some folks, including my good friend, took this lesson and then said, well, then I can manifest the world I want. I can heal myself of this disease. And that is true on a level above the personal self. What A Course in Miracles does after this lesson is teach you that you're not the body. Actually, it teaches it right from the beginning. But you can see how the personal mind will usurp this lesson and use it for its own means and ends. So when I say, I have invented the world I see, understand who the I is. Let's come back and have a chat about this lesson. took me years of trying to communicate to my friend that there is this is hard for me to put into words, but there is a one consciousness in which all seemingly personal thoughts arise, and I am that. And it's such a small twist to this lesson. How does this lesson work for you? David.
Well, this morning I wrote something, and looking back on it now, it was like I was doing what you said is what we do in error. In other words, I wrote up yesterday was a bummer, and today it's going to be different, and on and on and on and on and on. And the world that I see, and I have to see the world, otherwise I'm going to fall down the stairs and, et cetera, forget to breathe. But so there I am in this world, and what I was considering was, how I see this world depends on me. In other words, am I, like I say, when yesterday was a bummer, it was because I looked around and everything. I was looking at it through my bummer point of view, and today I'm not. Today it's not a bummer. I've made up my mind to have a good day. I've got plans to do stuff, and I like I say, I loved it. I think seeing the possum in my backyard kind of cheered me up, and but it's so I'm kind of not knowing where I am now, or because when I was writing what I was writing, it was about I'm going to get my shit together and have a good day and get back where I belong and da 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 da, and so I don't so now I don't know how to be or where to be or what to be, I guess. And so that's kind of it's going to be kind of interesting to sit here and listen to you and Cindy and Sandra tell me how to be. Or figure or give me some clues and how to get out of I'm going to fix this to I'm going to realize there's no fixing need be done.
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
So cause and effect, the small mind will say, I'm the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And everything else is the effect of that. And it's time for me to take personal responsibility and be more mindful of all the thoughts that come up in my mind, so I can control the thoughts that come up in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I think bad thoughts, then I'm not doing this right.
Yeah.
Right?
And when I was writing, when I wrote this morning, it was almost like I was writing this to an audience, and then I assumed my membership in that audience that I was writing to. It's like, okay, I was writing to about people that, are more Christian and then less spiritual, or one of the places I post my stuff is the ACIM from the UK. And that's pretty, it's Course in Miracly, but it's not it, but it's dualistic. And so I think when I started writing that, it was easy, or, to slip back into that I have to fix it point of view. It's all up to me to get things squared away. So I'm here to learn. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Bubbles, what you got for us?
Piggybacking on what David said, this lesson is yes, much of my my journey, my days, this resonates very beautifully, even with messy things that arise, or my perception of what is messy. And then there are occasional things that I play with, where mostly recently I've been playing with them. Most of my life, these particular things were very, very confusing for me. But because of this lesson, now I look at these perplexing arisings, and think, how did I invent this? How is this happening? And I play with it more, which is a nicer, it's a better way. It's just for me and a very a more comfortable way to live. um, and I, A Course in Miracles is my I just cannot say enough about. It's my jam. That said, Ho'oponopono, I include Ho'oponopono because the main thing to this prayer, this Hawaiian prayer, is I take full responsibility. And when I'm kind of stuck in the mire of not understanding why something is happening, I just, as we discussed a few days ago, I don't need to understand it. I don't need to know the why. So I just say, I love you and I thank you for this. And I don't know why it's happening, but I take full responsibility for creating this, and I give it to Holy Spirit. Anyway, thank you for listening. It was kind of a all over the place.
Oh, no, that was really good. I think what is happening here is this lesson is a lesson that is part of the progressive path. And it is just fine as it is. It's fine. But the non-dual path actually provides the other half of this lesson. And what I'm trying to do this morning is to present the other half of this lesson, to teach this lesson with the other half of it. And so that's maybe where some of the confusion is arising. Patricia, come to the head of the table.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. What a wonderful group of people. And I just want to say I love you. I say that before Richard does. I invent everything that I see. I am looking out my window and I see I'm in a condo complex and I see red brick. So I'm inventing that. But then I see all of the particles. I mentioned this yesterday. All the particles are part of God that created this piece of brick, the invention of this piece of brick. So I'm a little lost in that dichotomy there, that
This is where we can ask, who is the I that has invented the world I see? Right? It is not the small I. It is the I am.
yeah.
And
Okay.
that is what I am. I am. I am this awareness, the same awareness that is the same for everyone. It is the one consciousness, the one awareness in which all experience arises, in which all thoughts arise. So to say, I have invented the world I see, we need to understand this lesson in terms of I am the awareness in which this world arises, seems to arise. I am the awareness in which this world seems to arise. and everything that I perceive is myself. Little focal points of awareness that are part of the whole. And that is what you are, and David is, and Olivia is. All are the one awareness, my one true big self. All these words used to describe the same thing, which can get confusing. So when I say I have invented the world I see, it is the one awareness I am.
So,
that is having this seemingly focused, limited experience in which all this material limitation seems to be arising.
so I'm a little confused. So does that mean all of the particles that make up this brick, I am that?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes, I am that. It is all arising in the I am awareness. Every particle, every Higgs boson, every proton, it's all arising in the one. It's the manyness of the one, all arising. And so when I say, I have invented the world I see, I am, has invented, has made, is the awareness in which the world the small I sees or appears to see exists. Cindy. Cindy's going to make the sense of this for us all. Or add to the confusion. I don't know.
Well, the very first thing I wanted to say, Amy, was consciousness as it expresses through Amy Heibel captivates my attention in a way that other things haven't in a really long time. Or I don't know if that's communicated properly, but when Amy speaks, something in here listens.
Mm.
And that just brought tears to my eyes. I'm just really, really grateful. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I am becoming more and more aware that for my current, where I am on the path, whatever that means, because I don't know what anything means at the moment, the most important thing for me is to continually stay very, very connected to what it is I want. Not what Cindy Separate wants, but what I want. What is it I want? And this morning I wrote it down, what am I? No, really, if I knew what I be, what is it that I would know? If I knew who I was, what would I know? So my question isn't so much as why am I fucking it up? Why am I sad today? Why do I feel separate today? Why is the body misbehaving today? The question that I was choosing, or the question that was chosen to light me up today, was if I knew myself beyond the personality self, what would I know? Is that an amazing question? I don't know why I didn't sit in that question before, but if I knew myself beyond what Cindy says she is, what would I be aware of? And and I got chills now, so I'm going to continue. So from that, with that as the guiding point with this lesson, when I went into my dyad this morning, at one point there was an awareness of a bird song. And I wasn't just communicating, I hear a bird song. What came from that same kind of question was, what knows itself as one with the bird song? As opposed, it started with, who is the I who thinks she's not the birdsong? But that question doesn't fit anymore. The question that arose was, where do I know myself as one with this birdsong? Like beyond this sense of separation. So then there's this awareness of David saying, Cindy or Sandra or Amy's gonna explain this to me, right? And there was this little shaking inside, and then it was again this inside, like sense of responsibility, like I am the brick. Well, where is it? Here. How do I express as David's question, or Amy's clarity, or Patricia's beauty, and allowing a sense of resting as that, and then from that, allowing the various personalities to arise. So there's nothing here to help another at all. There's a yearning to know myself beyond that. And notice when I insist that my mother has a lot to learn, or, if only my daughter, like all of those thoughts arise, and there seems to be something here that gets captured by it for a while. But now I'm noticing that there's something beyond that. And through free will, or whatever you want to call it, I can ask the question again, what knows itself beyond this sense that there are others out there who need my help, or who can make me feel bad, or whatever it is, and sit in those questions.
So, Cindy, what is the cause of the desire to know oneself beyond the bird song? What is the cause of that desire? And I would submit the cause of it is the self, big self, yearning for itself. And so A Course tells us that the end of separation occurs in the same way that the carpet unrolled of separation unrolled, it rolls back up again. And so this lesson is both true and at the same time a baby step, because knowing oneself, knowing the self, requires that one open one's boundaries to all that is. And this is the Indigo truth. Everything that happens, happens for me. This is a way of opening to everything, because the self, the big self, I am, is everything. How can I know everything if I don't open myself to everything? Right.
Yes.
And so when I say I have invented the world I see, that's another way of helping the small self to say, yes, you're a good girl or a good boy. You have invented all of this. Allow it. Allow it to be as it is. But also understand who the I is that has invented. Right? Be clear about that.
What the clarity that arose this morning in asking that question was simply that every one of Cindy's thoughts, and by Cindy's thoughts, it even gave me it identified a Cindy thought as some flavor of not me, not here, not now. Every one of those thoughts is misperceiving based on what we're discussing now, and allowing and asking for the correction of the misperception without knowing where it's going to lead me is where I am right now. So that's what I have to add to this conversation.
That is all that needs to be. That's the brilliance of the teaching right there. Thank you. Barbie, come to the head of the table.
I don't even know where to begin. Uh, yeah, I know you say you open up for everything there is, and I understand that, and I understand everything is for me. But my big question is, and then I'll go into what happened last night. Why would I want to be in pain? Why would I don't understand why I know why, I know I invented it. I know last night I had trouble sleeping because I was getting chest palpitations. And I woke up, I was tired, and I felt, I don't even know what kind of mood I was in, but I was in a low vibration, and I understood that. So I did my meditation, and that just blew me away. I got so, it was so beautiful. I can't even explain it, but it was, so I'm still feeling the palpitations, but it's not as big, I'm dealing with it. I sit with everything, and I know everything is for me. But my question is, why do I want to, why would I invent something that would cause me harm or cause me pain? I don't understand that part. To give me a hint, I have no idea. I know it's for me because in some circumstances it happened, but I can't, I don't know why it would be for, it has to be for all because all is one, but I still don't understand why it would cause me pain.
Rana just says, why not?
Because it sucks, Rana, but it sucks.
Oh,
And I'm sitting with it.
May I
And so,
share?
I
go
was
ahead.
hoping someone would jump in here. Rana, please.
All right, I'm pulling over.
Okay, she's pulling
And I
over.
have a and I have a new phone. And so the bar on the bottom, man, you have to hit it multiple times to get and the little mute and all that up. So that sucks. Hi everyone. So here's what's occurring for me, and I'm really enjoying you coming with me on my errands this morning so I can just be with you. Why not? My question is, why would I have a daughter with cerebral palsy so profound? This sucks. So I have invented the world I see, which points back to the meaning part. Like that word invent for me is just strongly this morning connected with meaning. As I invent these things, there's a meaning placed on them. And then, of course, the ultimate, this is good or this is bad. And I thought having my daughter was bad. But look at all the gifts. What's bad is the truth for me, Barbie and everybody. The truth for me is what seems bad is when I'm in that moment so consumed by small s self, so limited, so rooted in the world of what's going on. That's where it's hard, where it's become lighter, more peaceful for me, moment by moment, is to check where I'm identifying in that moment of pain. Because in that moment of pain, it was as her mother. It was as a being who brought about a broken child, as a being who said, I deserve this pain for some reason, right? And so as I get to the root of those things, the pain of what I see is diluting. Why not? Well, I guess that there's some honor here as I consider that question. The honor is that this is the way consciousness has put itself together as me, as this divine expression, to have these experiences. But I forget that all the time. And so when the moment strikes me, why? I've got to look from where I'm asking that question. And that's what's so beautiful about what we've been talking about. I really feel like this lesson, being in the 30s, is really still speaking to that limited self. But Amy's showing us where we can use the lesson as a tool to experience I consciousness. So if I, Rana, have invented some world I see through this ego and preferences and opinions, can I be willing in any moment to transcend that and ask for clarity right there? It's got to do with that right there. The overall question of why is this happening is like a silly question. Because I can only really ask that question right here. And so my question right now is, why do I feel so much joy right now? And I could explain that away, Barbie, by saying, because I'm speaking and communicating with a dear friend. But is it that? Or is it just because it is? Because that's what's coming up right now, is joy, not pain. And I get to feel every one of these things deeply. And I never wanted to before. And so it becomes for me, because Kylie has triggered the opportunity to even go deeper. It was never Kylie. It was never the pain. It was that moment that Cindy talked about. These things arise for consciousness to know itself, to remember, I'm not this limited, tiny little thing, and anything that's going on right now is temporary and it will pass. And something new will take its place, and I can deal with that then. Much love. Thank you for the opportunity to share what I've been considering for 10 minutes as I drive up the street. And then I could no longer hold myself because my friend Barbie spoke.
Kirana, Rona, I
Rana.
love you.
That was the most beautiful answer I could imagine. Rana, thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. And it began with the question, why not? Right? Why not? I'm going to ask Richard to speak if he still is willing to, and then Sandra, because Richard, you had your hand up. So thank you, Barbie, for that discussion, for instigating that. That was just beautiful.
Hi, everybody. Love you all. Great shares. I love Rona's comment. I'm gonna. My take on that lesson is what we see and perceive is basically the cause of everything is the mind, as I understand that lesson. Not the world, but the mind. And if the mind is conditioned in such a way, certain thoughts will arise, and that will cause us to perceive what we think we're seeing as good or bad or whatever. But an unhealed mind will see through the eyes of the ego. A healed mind will see through the eyes of the Holy Spirit and or awareness. So a healed mind sees a world full of love and joy and peace. An unhealed mind sees a world full of sin, guilt, and fear. And the conditioned self, which is the ego self, sees the world as primarily sin, guilt, and fear, but we tend to awaken. As our mind awakens, we perceive sin, guilt, and fear less and less, and we experience peace, love, and joy more and more. I think that's the path. And what I perceive the Course is trying to do is heal our minds so that we are ready to enter our awareness, are ready to see that we are really everything that is, and that everything that is only for us. And we can embrace it and experience it, regardless of what it is. As we grow consciously, and then we'll be able to perceive the world, and regardless of what we're experiencing, through love and peace and joy. So, and we're all doing the best we can to deal with that. And sometimes our experiences are not what we would look consciously for ourselves, but coming to the realization, as beautifully as Rona said it, when we realize it's all for our good, why not? Just relax and let it be, and it too shall pass. And in the process of allowing that, I will experience more and more peace, love, and joy in my awareness of what I'm dreaming. So that's where I'm at with this lesson.
We're right there with you, Richard. Oh, I think the thing, this is such a subtle shift. And it's, again, the ego will try to use these lessons in order to further embed itself in the small mind. So, Barb kind of did what we all do, which is to say, well, if I practice meditation, if I practice these lessons, then the pain will go away. Why isn't the pain going away? And we have to, it's very subtle. It's very subtle. And
I knew the pain wouldn't go away, but it subsided a little bit. I just took whatever awareness gave me during my meditation practice. I wasn't expecting it because I'm still in pain, but it's more not obtrusive, it's more subtle. And I'm sitting with it, but it's like meditation sometimes gets me to a place where I experience awe and joy. And then sometimes I'm just sitting there saying, what happened? And I don't care if I get it or not, but I just love meditating because it's my ritual, I guess you could say.
it's your what?
My ritual to get me going for the day, puts me into a better mood.
It's a
I
great
don't know.
ritual. It's a great ritual. Absolutely. And the understanding, even in the bliss of meditation, that I am the awareness which is experiencing the bliss of the meditation is the same awareness that is experiencing the pain of the body. It's the same awareness, right? Thank you. Thank you, Barbie. Patricia, what you got for us?
I just went back to my Buddhist teaching, which is big mind. That's how they see God. And it's just what is. It's that simple. This is what is. And then that is what is. Moment to moment. Period. Nothing more, nothing less. And when
That is, yeah. And what is love experiencing itself.
Okay.
So this is my this is partly why I love A Course in Miracles, is because it does bring love back in. Buddhism is great and it's true. And I'm not a Buddhist. I've only studied it a little bit, so I don't know. But I think it's really important to what is the love, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, when it's not just emptiness and like there's nothing in there, right? It's full. It's full
It's love and acceptance of what is.
because love knows that it's accepting itself. Right? It's having an experience of itself. It's being its own creative delight in its own inventions. I have invented the world I see. I am has invented it. How? By narrowing my focus, narrowing my perspective and forgetting what I am in truth until I believe I am this singular, limited, focal presence that can experience death and fear. Wow, what an amazing invention. From that which will never die is infinite and unlimited. What an invention, And it has to contain itself because only the whole and complete can contain the idea of its opposite. Nothingness cannot contain wholeness. Only wholeness can contain the idea, the invention of incompleteness. That is why only what is true is true. Only love is true. Only the I am, one, whole, is true. Thank you.
Sandra had her hand up in case she didn't see it. I saw it.
Did you have your hand up, Sandra? Take us out of this meeting. This has been a beautiful meeting, and I want to thank you all.
I just kind of want to bask in everything that was said. Everything was very beautiful. And I guess there's only one thing I would add. The I. That is so much more than we ever imagined, that we can even still imagine. I don't think I can fully comprehend it, but I can experience it. And there's not a separate I that's the ego running around. That's like the joke at the end of all of this. I mean, there really isn't. And it's fully integrated as one. It's just an experience. And the invention part is not about responsibility, it's about empowerment.
That's right.
It's about empowering. I know now what the power I have is. And I get to perceive things differently through this apparent egoic self. I don't have to there is a process in all of this where you kind of have to separate the two out to understand it, but it's really all one. And that is the beauty of it. And that's why Rana can express so beautifully her experience with her daughter as being beautiful and hurtful at the very same time, because she's perceiving it differently. She's perceiving it from a place that is beyond our understanding, really, but we get to perceive it that way. And we get to have joy in every moment, no matter what is happening. At the same time, we're feeling sadness through the egoic self. It's all one. How extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. And the more we are able to experience in the awareness that it's all one, it's multidimensional and it's beyond time and space. It is so awesome. It's unbelievable. Thank you so much, Sandra. Invented the world I see is an empowerment. It's not a guilt trip. That
And it's a creation moment by moment. It's not like you decided 10 years ago, oh, I'm going to have pain on April 13th. We're creating moment by moment. We're creating. So create with awareness of what you're doing. That's the empowering part.
Wow, do I love us? Oh my goodness. There is so much love and wisdom here that it is, well, this is exactly where the parts, the sum is greater than the parts. The sum of the whole is greater than the parts. This is exactly what it is. I love us. See us in an hour, right? For coffee?
An hour for 12 stepping.
12 stepping at noon for 12 stepping. Okay. I'm going to go make chocolate chip cookies. I wish I could bring you all chocolate chip cookies.
Love us.
I love us. Thank you, Cindy.